What's up, guys? Intelitech Studios here, and this is definitely a machine that you have yet to see at the new house. And that's for, well, a certain reason. Now, this is my Bissell Big Green commercial, the Pro PowerForce machine that I got a few years ago for 40 bucks, brand new, damaged box, open box on eBay. And it's been working ever since. It's been absolutely a tank, and I haven't had any issues with it. But, or I shouldn't say and since this is a commercial grade vacuum and I've been using it, I've decided to pretty much just stop using it as a daily and start using it as a using it for whenever I take it somewhere to clean. So, like, for example, you probably saw the video with the Clean View where I took the brand new Clean View over to my friend's house and vacuumed their place. Now that task is for this machine. In fact, it's split up between two machines. This machine and the Shark 0M, the Shark Navigator 0M. So, both of those machines, particularly this one especially, have been the machines that I use whenever I take on some sort of cleaning job, which admittedly doesn't happen all that often. It usually happens a couple times during the spring, summer, and fall months, but during the winter I generally don't take up cleaning jobs. But I keep this machine in particular in my trunk at all times in case I need it, in case I need a vacuum, and I don't have time to run home and grab one. So, stupid Discord. So, whenever that happens, I've been keeping this in the back of my trunk, and because of the recent blizzard that's apparently hit the entire country right now, for whatever reason, well, I haven't been using my car all that much, to say the least. And to be honest, I forgot I had this back there. So this thing's been sitting in the back of my trunk, freezing at plenty below zero temperatures here in Illinois. We're talking, anywhere from teens, sometimes lower 20s, sometimes upper teens, sometimes down to the negative. And that's obviously Fahrenheit, because I'm in the US. So we're talking around, maybe like 0 to 5, maybe 10 degrees Celsius. I don't really know how Celsius works, but I believe I'm somewhere in the correct range as far as my guesstimation on that, because I know 0 is freezing, because that temperature is a type that makes sense. Anyways, so this thing's been in the trunk, and basically I've been rambling on for 2 minutes for no reason. The point is this thing is freezing cold, and I'm going to plug this in and see if it still works. Obviously it's going to. I don't see why it wouldn't. But, it's not all that cold, but it is a little bit freezy. Obviously, it was in the trunk, so in theory, the trunk of my Toyota should have kept it relatively fine. But I'm just curious, maybe leaving a vacuum in your trunk for a few weeks, actually, now that I think about it. Because I think I put this in the back of my trunk like 2 weeks ago, maybe. And I haven't pulled it out until just now because I hadn't had a reason to. So, we're just gonna randomly plug this in, and, obviously it's gonna work, but let me make sure there's no rust. Yeah, there's no rust on here. I didn't expect there to be. Sometimes I'll actually store this with the cord protector that it came with still on it. So, there is some snow in there. So I can knock that out. Yeah, okay. And I know I have a bag in here, and this bag door is... The biggest thing I hate about this is bag door is always a pain to get off. On the consumer versions and on the sanitaire version, it's a lot easier to get off. Ooh. This brush roll has gotten a little bit stiff. It's not as smooth as it once was. Perhaps, maybe it's sitting... You can see... Because, again, I bought this machine brand new. Maybe it's possible that this thing sitting in the trunk dries out the bearings on the brush. It still spins alright, it just doesn't feel the smoothest in the world. And obviously I don't lift these things up by the base because I don't want to break the fragile handle locks on these. So yeah, I haven't been purposefully abusing this thing, but it's received a lot of use. So it's not like I've necessarily quote-unquote babied it, because you can still use something consistently without, deliberately abusing it. But anyways, Let's see. It's on medium. And see how well this does. You can hear the brush rolls a little bit rougher, so it seems like to answer the basic question, yes, you can leave your vacuums out in the trunk of your car whenever it's below freezing, but the caveat is that presumably because of the rapid increase in temperature, the oil in the bearings of either the motor or the brush roll in this case, could potentially start to dry up, and as a result, sound rougher than it normally does, because I don't remember the brush sounding like that prior to pulling this thing out of my trunk. I always have the hiccups, or I cough, or I have to sneeze, or there's always something the moment I start filming a video, and then usually it's something I can't exactly refilm. Like, this is me trying this after it sitting in my trunk for 2 weeks, and frankly, I expected this thing to survive. That would have been really pathetic on this machine's part if it wasn't able to survive sitting unused in the trunk of a car for, 2 weeks. Because in theory, if this is a commercial machine, you should be able to throw this in back of your work truck, park your work truck for, the majority of the winter, come back in the spring, assuming you don't have any jobs during the winter, and it's sitting and freezing and unfreezing over and over again. You should be able to pull this thing out in the spring and immediately get to work. And maybe at worst replace a stretched out belt or something basic, that you would expect to have to do with a machine like this. So, and yeah, I mean, so far so good. So, I would imagine this filter is, yep, that's fine. Nothing wrong with that. So I know this, I've retrofitted, since I was using this for commercial purposes, filtration obviously being a priority. You can see there's not a lot. There's like this, all this dust appears to just be motor carbons. And the combined, and that's one thing I do like about these older bagged Bissells, and why I'm glad that these are still offered in a commercial machine. Yes, there's no headlight, but, I mean, I'm sure some vacuum collectors will make fun of me for using a Bissell for commercial purposes and not a Windsor or an Oric or something. But, truthfully, oh, come on, come off. Yeah, this is the biggest thing I don't like about this. I don't know if this is just my unit because it came in a distressed box, but it's been like this since I got it. This door is impossible to get off. Actually, it's a lot more like my Panasonic. Let me just... Yeah, there we go. So we can see, I've got the Clean Furry HEPA bag. So, Clean Furry HEPA bag, you can see the inside of this. It's right there. No cuts. No dust. Nothing in there. Completely clean. Let's see, wait, is there some dust down here? Nope. Maybe a little bit right there. Actually, I guess maybe a little bit right there. But I mean, pretty much nothing realistically. And so you've got The Clean Fairy HEPA bags, I mean, again, the reason why I use this as a commercial machine is because I do truly think that this combination, for the price, can't be beat. Because, again, I paid $40 for this, but I mean, if you even think for the 150 they're asking, and upwards, if you can find this thing for $100, these things are honestly a steal. Because if you can deal with changing rubber belts on these, which obviously if you're using this commercial environment, you're using it all the time, you're gonna have to change the belts on these, but they don't eat through them like dirt devils do. They do last a decent amount of time for a budget machine with a rubber belt, or a budget style machine with a rubber belt. You put these HEPA bags in, these Clean Fairy HEPA bags, which you can get on Amazon. For a while you couldn't get them during the main sort of brute force punch of COVID, but nowadays they're back on Amazon. At least the last time I checked, they were. Clean Fairy HEPA bags, you can get a pack of 20 of them for $18. These bags last forever, style 7. And you get this, you can just get like a basic, just generic aftermarket HEPA filter, just like this. You can get them in a pack of 4 for like $10. So, and obviously the belts you can get like, 2 for $5 or whatever, if that. Not a lot of money to keep this thing up and running, and keep it lasting for quite a long time. And then of course the thing I like about this more than the sanitary version, besides the fact that it's my local like school and community colors, which is kind of nice. I mean, I don't like this color scheme, but it matches, so it's kind of cool. You've got the pigtail style connector, which the Sanitaire doesn't have. The Sanitaire does have a big commercial cord like this. It's 30 feet like this, but it doesn't have this pigtail connection. I believe the Oryx do have this, where they have this pigtail connection, where if you damage the cord in any way, you can just replace it very easily, and the only thing you lose out on is the cord clip, unless you can somehow find one with a cord clip. And the thing that's nice is that when I do take this on a cleaning job, if I take the Shark Zero M with me, which that machine I mainly just use if I'm picking up a lot of loose hair and I don't want it to get wrapped around the brush, or I'm using that machine for hard floors. So this machine is the one that I use primarily, but that Shark I'd use as kind of a backup for certain surfaces and for certain above floor tasks where this, might not be as versatile. I don't need to bring a separate extension cord with me. I can just borrow the one off of this, plug it into the Shark, and then I have all the tools that I need with me, at least for vacuuming, all on hand. So, and that's why I use this. And I know a lot of people that use these Bissell's, but they'll just use like the current, commercial, or not commercial, like consumer grade ones, and just slap an extension cord on it. And you can do that too. I know Joe Wheeler is probably the most famous example of that. He makes good really good quality YouTube videos on his carpet cleaning business, and you should definitely go show him some love and support his channel as well. I know there's a lot of people that do that, and I know there's other people that use the Oryx as well. Now, I would use the Oryx because obviously having a lightweight machine is great, but honestly, other than the discrepancy of build quality, which I'll admit the Oryx are likely in some cases better built than these, but these are better in every way, honestly, because these are usually about the same price as an Oryx, but you can still get the HEPA bags. They don't self-seal. You do lose out on that. So you don't have the self-sealing bags, but in exchange, you get a machine that's only a couple pounds heavier, actually has onboard tools. They're not the greatest, but still better than having nothing at all. You have a machine that is equally as easy to change belts on, because a lot of those Oryx commercials still require belt changes from what I understand. I believe some of them have the EnduraLife system, but I'm pretty sure most of them still have rubber belts. I could be wrong about that, but either way, if that's the case, then still have this, equally as easy belt changes. And even though the machine's a couple pounds heavier, you get a lot better cleaning performance than those Oryx. Now, something like an XL21 or a Platinum Series or a newer Oryx could easily go toe-to-toe with this machine. From what I understand. I haven't actually pitted I just got my Platinum, so I haven't pitted it against these machines side by side, and I don't have like a lot of the fancy data that people like Vacuum Wars have to actually sort of measure pickup, so it's just sort of conjecture, but I think most people would agree those Oryx don't clean the best, those like early classic model Oryx don't clean the best, and I think something like this, which has been proven to outclean a lot of much more expensive machines, and that's the consumer grade, not even the commercial grade, although obviously they're identical. But I mean, this thing it outcleans a lot of Orcs, it outcleans a lot of Dysons, and I still have yet to see someone put this against like a really high-end commercial grade like a Windsor. I would love to get my hands on a Windsor or a Cibo or even a Mila, even though those aren't usually commercial grade, and actually test them side by side and see which one is better. I mean, in theory, the Windsor should be a lot better, and I have no doubt it probably would be for most people, but you know, there is a valid reason why I do use this in a commercial setting, and obviously I have had some machines sound a bit funky when I pull them out of the trunk, and they've been sitting for a while. This one doesn't have that problem. So again, this thing has just been an absolute tank, and I'm sure a lot of people have been wondering where this machine has been, since they haven't seen it on my channel in quite a while, and that's where it's been. It's been sitting in my trunk, just ready for the next job. And the next job that I'm going to do with this, I will say, is I'm not going to film it because it's at my friend who owns a resale shop. I'm probably going to take it up there and just clean the shop for him. Which, he didn't hire me or nothing to do it. It's just I just kind of offered. I thought, hey, because he has a Dyson V8 that he uses to clean. It's a really thin pile, like commercial grade carpeting. It's not like a very thick pile. So I would imagine a cordless Dyson probably does a sufficient job for day-to-day pickups. But considering a actual full-size vacuum has been run on that carpet in a very long time, I would love to run this thing on it. Really just any machine. I'd ideally like to use a bagless just to see what it picked up, but I still use this thing and just kind of pull out a bunch of crap that obviously is stuck in that carpet. And yeah, so I know a lot of people make fun of collectors who collect Bissell or like anything having to do with any sort of budget brand, but honestly, this machine has been a workhorse, and I have yet to have any major issues with it. Granted, I will admit, I'll be honest, I have not been using this thing commercially as often as many other people have. There are definitely other people who have had more commercial jobs in less of a time span than I have. So I will admit that this machine's use compared to many of its brothers and sisters are probably very scarce by comparison. And also, I'm not overly rough on my machines. I mean, whenever I was pulling this thing out of my trunk, I was hesitant to even sit it on the snow, whereas most people just pick it up, throw it down, and move on, and, get something done real quick. I generally do things very carefully, but, that's the vacuum collector in me. And because I did get this new, so I want to keep it in as good condition as possible for as long as possible, so I can keep this thing running, whether I continue to use it commercially or just give up on anything commercial altogether and just use something else. I mean, even if I'm not using it for commercial, this is still the machine that I would have just in the back of my trunk in case I need a vacuum, because these types of Bissells, first off, I mean, they're great. They're still decent as far as cleaning performance, especially for the price. You can throw HEPA bags and filters in them. Yes, they're not sealed, but they still have decent enough filtration. And yet, keep this in mind, this is a very important thing. If you're someone like me and money is an object and you definitely can't afford to replace a $1,000 machine if it goes missing or is involved in some sort of accident, it's not going to completely destroy your wallet if this thing gets damaged on a job, or if it, God forbid, gets stolen. So, and also because it's a lower end machine, it'd be, in theory, less likely to get stolen in the first place, because who would want a Bissell? Right? Because they're all over the place. So, I mean, it makes sense. I just figured I would make this super quick video because I'm sure some people are wondering, hey, what's up with the Big Green commercial? And as far as the Sanitaire SL4110A, I don't know how the hell I keep getting that right, but as far as the Sanitaire version of this machine that I do still have, I haven't used it since that video, but at some point I will take it over, and that will likely take over as my official daily driver, because generally my daily driver is whatever machine I'm currently testing. My daily driver is just whatever the most recent machine that I used is, which in this case is that Phantom. So, I guess right now my daily driver would be that Phantom, or the Musu, or that Eureka I used, or whatever. I mean, I have a million daily drivers. I mean, I remember I was talking to Alex from Performance Reviews. I was talking to him, and like in his Discord server, and he was like, "Hey, what do you use as a daily driver?" And I remember kind of getting stumped on that question because it's like, daily what? Because like I haven't had a consistent, steady daily driver in a very long time, and the last one that I had, like realistically, like as an actual legitimate daily driver, was probably this machine. So it's kind of funny how it just kind of reprises its old role. But yeah, so it's entirely likely that Sanitaire will take over as my daily driver status because, again, I review so many machines that I really have no reason to vacuum outside of the videos because I already vacuum so often in the videos that having another machine that's dedicated to being my daily driver when I've already cleaned the carpet with so many other machines, at least at this point in time, doesn't really make a whole lot of sense. So that's why I generally don't have a daily driver at the moment. So if people ask me what my daily driver is, that's kind of a tough answer. And obviously I can't say that Sanitaire is my daily driver because I haven't used it in like a year. I got that thing like a year and a half ago at this point. Actually, half a year ago, because I got it right when it came out. No one's done a review on it. I still haven't done the review on it, and it seems like everyone's forgotten about it. Because apparently people keep forgetting. People literally don't even remember that Bissell owns Sanitaire now, and it's kind of funny. So, anyways, so that's just a super quick video, and then also since I went there was a couple parts that I had gotten out of my trunk that I put in my trunk that I had never gotten. So I'll show those real quick. As you can tell, I got this Eureka floor tool at Goodwill for 80 cents. I don't know if this is a good floor tool or not, but it looked like it would match my Whirlwind, so I picked it up. I just thought, hey, that looks cool for 80 cents, who cares? And then I grabbed one of my spare combo tools. I forgot why. I don't remember if there was a machine that I had. Obviously, I'm selling some machines, so I'll be taking the attachments off of those all more than likely. And then, since I will be selling the PowerForce Turbo, I'll need to take the because right now that 6594-W didn't have a filter door, so I grabbed the one from the Dash 3 that I wasn't using, and these filters never get clean. So now this will have the proper filter door on it and not the one from the Turbo, which I'll now be able to put back on the Turbo. So there's some just basic stupid little updates, and just the update on this machine. So it's still a tech. It's still working good, and for the $40 I paid for it new in box, what, 2.5 years ago at this point? How long have I been doing vacuum videos? It's been a while. Because I remember that when I got this, I was still in high school, because I remember I had just gotten home from school and I did the unboxing of this thing, and it was raining that day, so I think the box was like all wet and crushed or something to that effect. So, good times. Anyways, this is Intelitech Studio signing out with the Bissell Big Green Commercial Pro PowerForce. And yeah, so to answer the title of this video's question, can you leave a vacuum in your trunk and have it still work? The answer is yes, and I don't know if I'm actually going to name the video that. I don't know what I'm going to name this video. This video is really weird and doesn't seem to have an actual coherent purpose. So if you're watching this, then great, because this video pretty much makes no sense. There's not really a point to it existing, and it just sort of exists, and the fact that you clicked on it is pretty cool. So anyway, guys, this is Intelitech Studio signing out. I'll see you guys in the next video, and I hope you all have a great rest of your day. Have a good one. Peace.